Cancer research is incredibly important in our efforts to defeat cancer. Now, 50 years ago, the great majority of people who developed cancer died of their disease. So you can see that in 50 years we've made significant progress, and it's research that's brought that progress, whether that's research into prevention of cancer or the early detection of cancer or the treatment of cancer. The success of cancer research depends upon the contributions of many people. We need a community that understands the importance of research and are prepared to give money to support cancer research. But there are also other ways in which people can support the cause of cancer research. For instance, people with cancer can become participants in clinical trials where new treatments are being offered and trialled to see if they have a benefit for cancer patients.
A clinical trial is a particular type of research. A clinical trial might be in the field of surgery, radiation oncology, or medical oncology, or it may be a combination, so it may be assessing a different combination of treatments. It's often used as a way to assess a new treatment or to compare existing treatments or a modification of existing treatments. A clinical trial collects different types of information about a new treatment or about modifications of existing treatment. So what's the safety of this new approach? And more importantly, does it work? Phase 1 studies aim to assess how a treatment should be given, how frequently a treatment should be given, what kind of side effects to expect, and what dose the subsequent trials should move forward with using, which is often called the maximum tolerated dose. A phase 1 study is generally the first study of a new approach or new treatment in a human patient. Generally, by the time a phase 1 study opens, there's already been a lot of research in the preclinical setting. The best types of scenarios to consider a phase 1 study are when standard treatment has been exhausted, but a patient is still fit enough and keen for more treatment. The other scenario where a phase 1 study might be useful is when it's the early part of a disease and there's no standard approach, and it's a good time at that point to assess whether doing something earlier might in fact impact things in a good way. A phase 2 study is often a continuation of a phase 1 study, but generally with a larger group of patients. A phase 2 study is generally much more specific. So efficacy, does it work, is the main question that's being asked. And it's being asked for patients with either a specific type of cancer or tumour or a specific subset of tumour. Phase 3 trial is the most important trial because that really is the name of the game. Is a new treatment or a modification of an existing treatment better than the standard treatment? So generally, phase 3 isn't just one arm. It compares this new treatment to the existing treatment. If there is no standard treatment, sometimes a placebo might be used. So a phase 3 study might use standard treatment plus or minus a new drug. And the other arm, the control arm, might be standard treatment plus a placebo. So patients will never be compromised by participating in a phase 3 study. It would be unethical to put a patient on a placebo if there existed a particular approach that we know to be beneficial. A phase 3 study is generally randomized, which means that the patient randomly gets assigned to either the new treatment arm or the standard arm. Neither the patient nor the doctor has any say in which arm the patient will be allocated to. It's usually done in a very randomised, computerised way. Phase 3 trials are really the gold standard of trials. They're the most reliable way to know if we're on to a new winning approach. Generally, a government in any country mandates that a phase 3 study takes place before a new drug or new approach becomes available or reimbursed. We wouldn't put a patient on a phase 3 study unless we had what's known as equipoise, which means we genuinely don't know which arm is better. Phase 4 studies take place after there's already been a phase 3 study showing that a new treatment works. Sometimes a phase 4 trial is important for a number of reasons. So perhaps in the short term there's no significant side effects, but in the long term there might be some unexpected side effects. So this is a way of collecting what we call post-marketing data, a way of assessing whether there's some unexpected or cumulative side effects which weren't apparent in those earlier phase studies. Sometimes a phase 3 study is clearly positive, but there can be a delay before the various government committees assess the data and approve the drug. Sometimes a phase 4 study is an excellent way to have access to a new drug or approach while the clinicians await the approval of the pharmaceutical committees and for the drug to be put on the PBS. Clinical trials are important because it's really the only way we have of rigorously assessing and safely assessing whether a new treatment or a modification of an existing treatment has benefit. A new treatment can only become standard treatment once it's been assessed in the setting of a clinical trial to be both safe and effective. A patient should consider signing up for a clinical trial if their treating clinicians think that they are suitable for a clinical trial. A clinical trial may be an opportunity to receive free drug and to be safely monitored while receiving that new drug. We do have a sense that patients on clinical trials often do better than patients who are not on clinical trials, even if they're not on the active new treatment arm. Possibly that's because of the tight supervision that they receive while on a clinical trial, that there are other benefits apart from the treatment itself from being on a clinical trial. I'd like to encourage patients to have a conversation with their treating doctor, to ask the doctor, is there a clinical trial that you have open that might be suitable for me?